Namdi, let me come back to you now. Do you think we have what he's saying or what he's suggesting that we do have that's like a coordinated anti-terrorism plan or project or roadmap? Namdi.
Well, for me, the challenge with fighting terrorism is not as a sort of policy. We are not short of policy document. What we are short of is the political will to drive some hard decisions in terms of, for instance, I was looking at a document and I saw where the NSA talked about building community resilience and also, talking about protection of the population. Now we take the Dapchi girls kidnap and you start asking yourself the question about the strategy behind protecting the population. Some of us are arguing that you can develop a framework whereby you have the counterterrorism police and also the civilian joint task force and the local leaders arrange a local response to the security of these villages. The Nigerian military cannot be everywhere to protect these civilians. We should have a strategy or a doctrine of the Nigerian military conducting offensive operations and aiming to stop the freedom of movement and action of the terrorists. Where you have, in the villages, you have the police, the civil defense, and the local civilian task force make effort to provide security so that the instances of sneak attacks or abductions cannot continue to occur. And the issue of document has dated to when President Jonathan was in power. So I think the government lacks the political will to, implement some of these policies that happen. So until we see a comprehensive strategy or a comprehensive tactical plan behind insurgency, we may not see an end. And also the soft approach towards tackling terrorism is so key. If you're talking about soft approach, you're talking about, trying to implement a policy to contain poverty, a policy of de-radicalization, a policy of countering narratives. If we don't have a constant and a conscious effort towards implementing this soft approach to countering extremism, the terror will continue for the next decade. So that's the angle I'm seeing it from.
All right, let me just come back to you in the studio. So one thing that has come up in this discussion is the fact that, the government lacks the political will. But we saw, like you made mention of the girls that were just abducted in Dapchi, in Yobe State. The president has asked the security, operatives to immediately, find these girls. He has apologized that, okay, it has happened under his watch, and he has also agreed that it is a national disaster. But I think that is some form of will. For one, for him to accept that it has happened. Two, for him to direct security agencies to go ahead, and find these girls. So how then do we say that there is no will?
Okay, like Nnamdi mentioned, we are not short of policies and frameworks. What we lack is the will. What we lack is the implementation. When the government of the day was in the opposition pre-2015 elections, and the girls in Chibok were kidnapped in 2014, the APC knew exactly what needed to be done to have prevented that attack in Chibok. They knew that security should have been provided for schools in Boko Haram invested areas or communities. And the same thing has not been done 3 years in power to protect girls in Yobe State, where Boko Haram has been striking in recent times. A week before the kidnapping in Dapchi, the security operatives, most of the security operatives in that town were relocated to another place.
That's mere say. We're not sure of that.
Okay, it's a mere say. But that's the information that's been coming from the parents and the people in that, the residents of the community, that most of the security operatives were relocated. If there is a will to implement policies, we don't have to keep developing new policies and frameworks all the time. The policies and frameworks we've developed on security, on food provision, on employment in the past years, what have we done with them? How many of them have we implemented?
Hold on, I'll come back to you again in a bit. Mukhtar, let me come back to you. So looking at what we have done with previous documents, that we have established here that are actually in place, with what is happening now, people are saying that people are referring to the Safe School initiative that was put in place when the Chibok girls were abducted. What happened whatever happened to that policy?
And the same thing that happens to every policy in Nigeria, it seems like. Funds were allocated, funds were collected, and funds went into private pockets. You see, the challenge, I think, with the structure of the Nigerian state is we tend to live in a fantasy world. Whether it's this administration, the last administration, or administrations going back decades, the reality of what's happening on the local level is very different from the pronouncements coming from the leadership at the top. For example, for the past year or two, we've been hearing from this administration that Boko Haram has been defeated, something that is a complete and total lie. Many of us who do know what's going on have stated repeatedly that these people have merely regrouped and gone underground till the time when they need to strike. You can't legislate and you can't make pronouncements that have no bearing on reality. The Safe Schools Initiative, and I'm saying all that to say this, the Safe School Initiative, if you were to talk to the government will claim that yes, it's been implemented, it's doing a great job, every school is safe. But on the local level, it isn't. So, again, like one of the other gentlemen said, the challenge is not just that we have a lot of people who have good intentions and what have you, but the reality is nothing is being done to make things happen.
All right, just hold your thoughts for a second, Mukhtar, and all of you on the program, but we'll take a quick break and we'll be back shortly with more perspective. Please stay with us.